Hey David,
Hello.
you hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
How's the There you go. Hey, there he is. How's it going, man?
I'm doing all right. It's strange that it's Monday. This whole last week was
Yeah.
a little movemented, but
Yeah, you seem like
yeah,
a really busy guy, man. You got a lot going on, helping a lot of filmmakers reach the festival circuit and, not just for yourself, but for others. And, you're a director, you're a producer, you're a writer, you stay very busy. So, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of grind, and it's respectable.
constantly.
And I'm glad you can be here. We kind of had like a almost short notice. I wasn't sure if you saw the link or not. I'm glad you did.
Oh my goodness. Thankfully, my phone also reminded me this morning because I started
Yeah,
using myself in emails and then hours pass and you're like, oh God.
yeah,
So
yeah. I get so many emails, man. I understand. It's like a separate kind of grind to stay connected and keep people updated on things. It's tough.
yeah, especially when
Um,
you're implicated in so many different projects and you always
yeah.
have people, oh, this is happening, don't worry. And
Yeah, I got a list here. Your films that we've already screened is Morning Vigil, and then we're going to be screening on July was it July 26th, I believe, the Chateau Sauvignon terroir, which
yes,
is a
exciting.
spectacular horror short that you've done very well. I guess is that the one that opened up the whole avenue to festivals for you and these collaborations?
Yeah, absolutely. Chateau Sauvignon Terroir was my second completed short film as a student. It was my master's thesis, and my undergraduate thesis short film was a learning curve. We probably submitted to about 160 festivals and got into maybe eight without a nomination or anything. And that was quite the hard hit. And so I knew that with my next short film, I wanted to get into at least double the number of festivals my previous one had gotten into. And rather than doubling it, we probably multiplied it by over 100.
Yeah.
We had we're done with the festival run, and I think we received about 620 selections
Oh
overall.
Lord. Wow.
And one of the big reasons that we continued pushing the festival circuit for so long was this adage I had been told previously that if your selection rate is above 34%, there's still an audience out there for it,
Sure.
and you continue to get selected and to win
Wow.
prizes and to have some kind of visibility.
Yeah.
Um, that might be more the case prior to social media exploding and people just being creators and constantly pushing out, whether it's TikToks or YouTube videos or
Yeah.
Instagram. So that necessity isn't there anymore, I think, and I don't believe I will push a short film that hard for that long again. The need isn't there.
Sure.
Um, but it did give me this baptism by fire kind of academic background as to how do you approach the festival circuit? What are you looking for? How do you
Yeah.
choose where to submit, where not to submit? And just creating strategies behind that, seeing what works and what doesn't. And then really enjoying doing that and really finding the festival circuit to be an incredibly creative space
Hmm.
where people are just happy to either talk to you about your project or about the state of affairs of cinema and
Yeah.
entertainment business. And every time I go to a festival, I just have this will to want to shoot the next project, to rate the next script, more so than I do when I just kind of toil alone in an office space.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. For sure.
and it costs a lot of money to make a short film. And while I'd love to just be directing and writing, I really enjoy working with other people.
Hmm.
It's one of the reasons I got into the business is this communal aspect, this communal creative goal that you work towards. And so for me to just feel like I'm still collaborating, still working with people, distributing was a great outlet for that, where I
Sure.
can meet people who are doing great work, who are completing their work, because when you start off, there's so many projects that are shot that just never see the light of day.
Did you kind of like fall accidentally in that, would you say? Like your experience doing the film festivals, like how what was the first like spark of idea that hit you when you were like, huh, I could do this perhaps.
I think it's probably undergraduate years when I did take a number of courses on distribution and festival circuit and what do you do once you've created your short film, essentially, because the big
Yeah.
question that you spend so much time writing
Yeah.
and producing and post-production. And like you got your short film, your career is made, except that not at all. And how do you get it out there? So
Yeah.
I took a number of classes that I really enjoyed. And I had always told myself in one way or another, if the creative route dissipates, if I've got to find something a little bit more career driven, it would probably be in acquisitions and distribution.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
and I had a short internship at a company for a while doing that. And I did enjoy it. But the way that it came about was a little bit more organic, where I did it with my short film and I was still producing
Hmm.
a number of other short films where from development through post. And so the short films that I produced after my short film was completed and on the circuit, I then continued to stay attached to and help distribute that.
Nice.
And so it just grew naturally
Yeah.
based off of Chateau receiving this incredible acclaim and then following short films, following them through the festival circuit and being able to garner 100+ selections for a number of short
Yeah.
films that followed.
Are
Um,
are you like having done all this, would you say you have a pretty good connection with the people that run the festivals? Like are you close to them? Are you like that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people to be connected with. I imagine it's difficult to manage all of that.
the useful thing, especially having had Chateau get into all these festivals,
Hmm.
is that I can now kind of parlay. I've got a working relationship, collaborations with all of these festivals. And it's like, hey, remember me? We got nominated, we got selected, we participated.
Yeah.
Have all these new short films. Can we maybe get a bit of a discount here and there? And so that's something that I generally will be able to bring to the table as a producer of distribution
Yeah.
is you give me your budget and I know that I'm going to be able to double that for you. Because I know where to look for discounts. I have all of these different relationships. And that helps too because somebody's already seen your work. They know that you bring good narrative projects to
Right.
them. They're
Right.
going to give you a little bit more attention the following time. And festivals will like to kind of prop up filmmakers they've already selected, bring them back to create an atmosphere, this alumni kind of quality.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just really nice to also be able to say to watch a festival grow and to grow with it.
Sure.
Uh,
Sure.
as somebody who works more in the indie genre, horror, sci-fi, fantasy world, that's where I have a lot of my connections. But I do also enjoy kind of continuing to learn and to discover other niche forms of narrative. So I have in distribution currently a musical comedy.
Hmm.
We have a couple of BIPOC dramas. We have a couple of pilots as well that we've started to branch out into.
Very
So
cool.
that's been really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the list we got from you, all the films are have been exceptional, and so yeah, it's exactly what you said. I feel like I can trust you with some things that if you keep submitting to Stay Gold, I look forward to it for sure. I mean, there's such a list, exceptional, Launch to Paradise, 11 blocks to go. We regret to inform you. I mean, things that you had your hand in as a producer, do you get producer credit because you're helping distribute, or have you actually were you on set and or just like in general, do you help with the pre-production?
So one of the things that I request in my contracts is a general producer credit. Depending on
Nice.
my involvement, it will be an associate producer, executive producer, producer credit.
Yeah.
Um, and one of the reasons that people then do not know just how involved I was, and they might expect me to have carried the project through from development onwards. Um, for a majority of those, so exceptional, we were got to inform Michelle Bossi, who I've distributed 4 short films for now. I've never been on set for any of her short
Okay.
films, but I've received producer credits on all of them.
Yeah, it's a legitimate role, and I would think it's good to have somebody like that on the team at at the producing. That is a producing role. You're on the
So
back end of it, helping it get seen and get into places and maybe awarded even. And that's a lot of work. And I'm sure film directors don't want to do that because it is a lot of work, and so
they don't necessarily consider it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can have a post-production producer, you can have a producer who's there
right,
just on set, and
right,
then we'll say, okay, my job's done. Good luck with the rest of the project.
yeah,
And so I come in with distribution. I've been involved in projects where my role is just distributor, producing distributor, but I've come on in development. And so
Mm,
I will then be giving my 2 cents as to what might be, what are festivals looking for?
yeah,
What can we
yeah,
get done during pre-production or production so we don't have to worry about it later, such as
right,
maybe taking some pictures for a poster or in post-production already considering what the trailer might be. So there's a lot of other work other than I'm just taking your money and submitting it to festivals.
yeah,
There is this
and
whole kind of
packaging,
promotion package
yeah,
behind it. Exactly so. You've got a press kit that you have to create. You need to make
right,
sure that you've got all the materials ready, whether it's your log line, whether it's behind the stills pictures. And so I'm organizing a lot of that.
yeah,
I'm putting it together so that when we start hitting the festival circuit, we're not surprised that a festival will ask us for a DCP or
mm,
for a 15-second clip. We're going to
yeah,
have all the materials ready to go and say, here you go. Then so it's a lot of work for me because I've got all these projects to juggle, but when all of that's in place, it's very streamlined.
right,
Um,
right.
Difference between me as a producer for distribution compared to maybe one that gets attached earlier on is that generally they will finish the project in a couple of weeks, couple of months, but I can be attached to a project for over 2 years, following it through the festival circuit and then trying it to find homes beyond that.
Yeah,
Because once the festival circuit is done, well, what do you do with the project? You just put it on YouTube. Who's going to see it? You're going to want to then find platforms. Maybe it's
yeah,
VOD. Maybe you've got people creating anthologies that are interested in it.
right, right.
And I have some experience with that too. And so it's finding these channels so that your film can continue to live on and receive views and you can continue to prop yourself up in your own
I
career,
mean
basically.
that was my next question. You hit it. It's like, are you now that you've gotten some experience, being a like producer distributor for these short films, are you looking at different companies that do that, anthologies, around the world? I just now been open to it. Recently, I connected with what are they called? Scene Circle in the UK, based in the UK. Have you heard of them?
It's in a circle. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
I
so
was at a
I've
festival not far in Sheffield and I met some people from that actually.
very nice. So yeah, I feel like your next logical step is to open up to those channels and help them, get seen by these companies. And it's no guarantee, but if the quality is there, if it fits the genre, if it fits the anthology they're building, there's a good chance that you can get it onto some streaming platform and then, obviously there's some business that goes behind the scenes, like the company gets paid up front first, right? A certain amount, and then after that, the filmmakers start making money. But that's not a bad situation, it's really not. And so how are you? So it looks like you dived in a little bit into that, sounds like. And
Yeah, there's of the 40 plus short films that I've kind of had my hand on with regards to distribution. I don't know any of them that have made money, unfortunately.
uh,
Short films is not where you're gonna make money on your project.
I see.
You will probably see pennies on the dollar. Those companies, so some companies will make money and you just are lucky to be part of their platform.
Right.
And that's going to be
Right.
based on clicks and shares and ad revenue for YouTube or whatever else. Other
Sure.
platforms, depending on the platform, they say we want to help the filmmakers. We will give you a percentage, whether it's 50, all of it, 10%. But no matter what those are always going to be smaller platforms, and you're only seeing pennies again. It is rare to make even $100 back, and so you're never gonna touch everything that you spent. Your budget
Sure.
will never
Sure.
be realized again. But the hope is that it will help you find maybe benefactors or a production company for the next project. You were able
Exactly.
to say my short film lives on a VOD platform. It's
Right.
going to the festival circuit. You can trust me as a filmmaker. My next project will do even better.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it's kind of proof that hey, look, my films are good enough to win awards and to get onto a platform, and and you can put it in your pitch. Next thing you do, it's like, hey, I want to reach this new level. This is what I've done. And so it's not a bad necessarily thing when it comes to that.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I tell filmmakers because they'll ask me, what's the benefit of working with me? Why should they hire me? Aside from the fact that I'm saving you time and money,
Yeah,
is I am helping you build this career that you can then use for your next project. And there've been positive responses for that. There's
that's great.
11 Blocks to Go, which we mentioned is a web series.
Yeah.
And through the distribution we received, and we did some interviews and we got some reviews, and we're on a couple of VOD platforms. They were able to use their EPK,
Mhm.
bring it to interested parties, and they're now in production on the entire show.
Yeah, I
With
heard. I heard are they doing a vertical platform for the show?
exactly so.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah,
And that's because we were able to prove to these benefactors that, oh, there is a market, people are interested,
yeah,
and we have proof of that. We have it uh, from the fact that we had a couple of other smaller companies in Europe pick up the show and distribute it
nice.
as well,
Yeah,
uh, to the number of awards, to just the glowing reviews we've received from both festival directors such as yourself or different websites like Film Threat. Um, it's all useful and it helps the next one. So
sure. And that's actually a pretty smart strategy to because I feel like vertical is still kind of a new thing, and they're looking for all kinds of content for it. And apparently, I guess you can blame social media for it. I don't know if blame is the word, but it's like a new way to
yeah,
digest content. It's so interesting. People on their phones, they're just on it, and so it's like such a weird thing to happen in the course of, television and film. But it's great. It's great for filmmakers that are getting out there, and all that, and it gives them that opportunity. And next thing you know, maybe that show does well on that platform and it gets picked up somewhere else.
exactly. So I mean, I think that the great example is probably High Maintenance, which was Vimeo's first ever web series
Oh,
that eventually HBO picked up.
oh
Uh,
wow.
so that was here in the city, and then they created this little universe where other shows were not necessarily based on it, but were in this same universe. Like there was a skater show called oh, I'm completely zapping on the name of it, but it's and this all just came about from 2-minute clips, this little sketches
Yeah,
that hit the mark, good acting, good writing.
yeah,
And it can change careers. And I
yeah,
think that for them, this new vertical media could be really useful. It's going to be short, snippy episodes.
yeah.
It doesn't take a lot to shoot them. And if you've got that writing, the storytelling down, which they do, I think they can do really well. Yeah.
For sure. So we talked a lot about of like kind of your interesting niche of getting into helping other filmmakers. Let's talk about your movies. Let's talk about your films. So Chateau Sauvignon Terroir is a student project you did. So I feel like did you attend several different universities? Is that right?
I received my undergraduate degree from NYU,
Nice.
to the arts. I stayed in the city, and after working for a couple of years, I went back to school. I received a master's in directing from the School of Visual Arts in Manhattan,
Wow. Yeah.
and that's where I did Chateau Sauvignon,
Very
terroir,
nice. How
which
how was the program there? Like dive into that a little bit. It seemed like just watching the short itself, it went full out. Like it had the makeup, the costumes, the
yeah,
location you picked. I mean, it was all just done really well.
didn't want to skimp. I wanted there to be a high aesthetic value to it,
Yeah.
more so than the previous short I had done, where had people tell me, "Don't ever show this film to anybody. It's so bad." It's like,
Oh,
okay, well, let's make sure that doesn't happen again. Um, and that was the one that got accepted to 8 out of 160 festivals.
yeah.
Um, and so this program was a crash course in production to a certain extent. It's a year from beginning to end. It's 12 months,
Nice.
and people who got accepted into the program just needed a background in art.
Okay.
So they could be photographers, they could be writers, they could be graphic designers. And so the first part of the program was really this crash course learning how to screenwrite, the formatting, learning how set functions, really the kind of basic things that you would learn the first
Yeah.
few years of film school. And since I already had that background, that gave me an upper step to a certain degree. So I was ahead of the curve for the most
Sure.
part going through that program. And it gave me a lot more time and energy to dedicate into just location scouting, which took over 2 months, and casting process, which was really um, not, it was a little long, but it was worthwhile. I think that I knew what I
Yeah,
wanted.
you had some great choices. It seemed like it wasn't just anybody you picked. It seemed like you picked some people that had some genuine television experience and short film experience, acting and all that. It's
And the big leap of faith was that Michael Lors,
mhm.
who plays the main character, is the lead. This was his first time being in front of the camera. He was
Oh,
a
well,
the theater major. So this was his first short film, and he just blew it away. I thought he was incredible. Um, and I knew that I had something strong on my hands. Chateau Sauvignon, the concept for it came about when I was an undergraduate. It was a concept for a feature film. And so
yeah.
Chateau Sauvignon has this little subtitle, terroir, because it's supposed to be a proof of concept for
Gotcha.
um, terroir being where grapes grow. It's really, we talk about the soil quality. And so this is what then becomes the wine. So
Very
this will
nice. Very
become
nice.
the future. Um, And thanks to so the whole point of this program and the reason that I was really attached to it was my undergraduate short film took me maybe a year to complete post-production, which was way too long. And this program, this master's program, required you to complete the short film and screen it by the end of June or July, whenever the program finished, in order to graduate, in order to complete.
Wow.
You
Pressure,
you had to go.
deadlines.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So. And I thought that that was really useful. And the
Yeah,
head of the program is Bob Giraldi, who was a big music video and commercial director. He did music videos for Michael Jackson, things like that. So it was interesting to have somebody with that much knowledge, and
for
he has
sure.
a lot of connections, big network. So we had fantastic people come and talk to us. Um, yeah, it was a great experience. And through that, I then met other people. They invited me to produce student short films years later. So The
Yeah.
Hobbyist, I believe
Right,
you
the
would see,
hobbyist, yeah.
that was
Which is great. We
George.
screened that one. It was fantastic. Yeah.
So that one I took from development through distribution. That's the
Nice.
second short film that I did that with. And that was an SVA film that happened the year after. And through all of this distribution of these SVA films, they then invited me to come and talk to their students later on, give little lectures about, how do you
Nice.
approach distribution? Here's somebody who's done it from your program.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of like a
I did that a
star
few
of
times.
the program.
It's been really fun because I've been then invited to film festivals to talk about it as like a keynote speaker.
Nice.
I've been invited to judge and to be jury member at some festivals,
Nice.
invited to a couple of other schools to talk on the subject, including Royal Holloway, University of London, which
Oh,
is
wow.
where I went and received a master's in screenwriting just a few years ago.
Wow,
So I
fantastic.
go to a few uh,
Crazy.
institutions. Um, so yeah, that's the course right now. And for me, it's horror. I really like horror. I'm not necessarily completely bound by it,
Hmm.
but I know that my love for cinema grew from watching films that terrified me and that really scarred me and would
Yeah.
traumatizing. The only way to get over just how spooky they were would be to watch how they were made.
Yeah.
And in watching how they were made, it's just like, wow, these people are having so much fun. This looks great. This
Yeah.
is incredible.
And
And
now
that,
you want to give that back to somebody else, right? The experience
oh,
of being
um,
horrified. Which I gotta
yeah,
say, the blood effects in Chateau was they were fan. It wasn't cheesy. It was fantastic, And sometimes with horror, you watch films and it can be really cheesy with that. But it you did such a great job.
I was
Yeah,
not super pleased with the effects in my first short. And I knew that I needed to find somebody who's um, acting working professional.
yeah.
And Anthony Pepe, who did the special effects for Chateau, he's somebody who's on one of these reality shows where what's it called Face Off, where you have all of these special effects people that are competing. Every episode, they got to create something. And he was in a few seasons, and he is the head of the special effects in Blacklist.
Oh
He's
wow.
working on the Amazing Spider-Man. He has done massive, massive movies,
Crazy. Yeah.
and he just happened to be free when we were shooting. They were
Whoa.
like, it was the 2 weeks that they had off or something. It's like, oh yeah, sure, I'm not going anywhere. And I live right next door to where you're filming. This is perfect.
Crazy.
And I never even met him. We had a couple of conversations over Zoom, and
Yeah.
I shared some pictures of what we wanted the weapons to look like. And he just showed up to set with these models that he recreated, and they were mind blowing.
Wow.
And there's a spoiler alert, somebody gets their neck cut in the
Yeah.
film that he's never had an effect work that well ever before.
It looked incredible. It looked realistic and just horrifying, man. Horrifying. Yeah, it was good.
I had to bring him back for Morning Vigil, which is the most recent one. It's more of a dramatic tale,
Yeah.
but I really wanted to incorporate some horror elements. So we've got this priest who's really all done up with boils, and he created these different um, prosthetics to put on a kid's face and to
Oh
make something
wow.
older. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Crazy. I didn't even like realize that. Like I thought,
A lot
well, yeah,
more.
I did see that there was like makeup involved and stuff, but I didn't realize to that extent. But the speaking of morning vigil, I mean, it's such a different what like take on what you did with Chateau. You know, it just shows to your diversity in the artistic aesthetic skill of filmmaking. You know, definitely. And it, you know, your French influence I can see in both, obviously, right? And but you took it in so different direction. One looked more like a old school, like I don't know, like 70s or like almost like 60s television or film shot in 16 millimeter or something like that, you know. And it's so interesting to see that because you don't see that very often, you know. And so it was the acting specifically in Morning Vigil, I thought, and some of the audience members thought was some of the best acting, especially that actress who played the no, what was her name? Can,
Peterson.
uh,
Incredible.
yeah,
A little anecdote on set.
yeah,
He would tell our assistant directors, like, okay, this is my close-up. I know I'm gonna need to cry. Give me
yeah.
37 seconds and I'll start crying. And every time she would just throw out a number. It wouldn't be a minute, it would never be a round number. 48 seconds, 22. And he would time it and she would be ready on the dot. It was so impressive. As the
Yeah,
second short film that I worked on with her, I'm not sure if we had submitted Birdie to Stay Gold. That's a short film that I produced from development through distribution as well, and that's where I met her. The
yeah.
psychological thriller.
I'm
That's
not sure. I mean, we had 400 submissions this year. This year I experienced some real growing pains with Stay Gold. It went from a tiny, we started out as like a grassroots screening locals only coffee, you know, coffee shops, bars, and it grew into just out of necessity into this large thing in a theater, which is like pretty fantastic. And I feel like it's still in the process of growing, you know, and it's becoming, you know, if I just keep going, which, you know, I will, it's becoming a thing where in our town, this town, Broken Arrow in Tulsa, it's becoming like a cultural center for films from around the world. You know, you're not going to get anywhere else in Oklahoma. I mean, you'll get here and there in festivals that there are some internationals, but to this extent is like unheard of, you know, unheard of. And the unexpected thing for me the takeaway was getting to meet all these filmmakers and writers and actors. I wasn't really like that wasn't my plan, you know. It was just like, oh, by the way, yeah, you get to meet these people and there's an opportunity to connect with them and just be friendly with them, you know, and get to know them, which to me is like we live in a generation filled, you know, the digital revolution, what it did to film is crazy. I mean, it's accessible to so many people, and you just have to learn it. You have to practice your craft, you know, constantly, and you have to have that mentality of wanting to learn and collaborate, which, you know, you have it. You know, it's pretty great, man.
collaborative aspect, like I mentioned before. That's what I love about it, and
Yeah,
meeting people who are excited and energetic and want to give it their all as well. And
yeah,
no more exciting feeling than being at a film festival. That's why film festivals will not die. Um, Thankfully, COVID is gone, but that definitely also changed the whole kind
Yeah.
of scenery with festivals now being partly virtual, completely virtual. Is it still a festival if you're not meeting people? Is it
Right.
just
And see, that's my thing is it's important for me to have it in the theater. It's important for me to actually screen the movies, and it's important for me to like find an audience to keep that experience alive, because it's different, A lot of the festivals are going to just streaming, which is understandable. It's part of the world we live in, but I think it's still necessary to have it screened and to have that theater connection, in a movie theater. And you can not add on top of that the streaming, but I think the this idea that festivals, that I did it locally, but I wasn't charging anybody. But like the idea that festivals are screening in bars and coffee shops to me is kind of like if you're charging fees and whatnot, and like I don't think it's a good idea because you're kind of taking away from the movie theater experience, which is the whole entire point, of
yeah,
doing it like that.
exactly. And especially for a filmmaker, where if you really want to know, how well did I do my job? Are people going to laugh at the joke? Are they going to be scared when they're supposed to be? Are they going to cry when I want them to? You're not going to know if people are watching it behind their screen and not in the same room as you.
Right. Right.
And for an independent filmmaker, you're not going to have test screenings like a big studio might. So to be
Yeah.
able to sit in a theater where there's other people watching it and to watch the audience's reaction, that's what
Yeah.
filmmakers do and mostly usually do. I'm not going to go to a film program to watch my film. I've seen it 100 times. I want to see how you're going to see it for the first time. And I
Yeah.
want to watch the other films that are programmed with it because generally, if people are making other horror films, I want to see what they're doing and I'd like to
Yeah.
meet them.
I'm
Amazing.
sorry. I don't know if you hear a lawnmower. My neighbor is cutting their grass. It's kind of
Absolutely not.
intrusive.
No,
Hopefully it's
no.
not too bad. Okay. We
As I
have about
see another
eight
world.
minutes. You're in New
Yeah,
York right now? You're in New York?
I am currently in New York, so I worked, studied, lived here for almost 17 years.
Yeah.
Uh, and I will be heading back to Paris. I've been based in Paris for about 3.5 years now.
Wow.
One of the reasons
Crazy.
being last master's was in London, and I really enjoyed being in France, which is I'm half French. Nice to
Yeah.
rediscover that part of the family, that
Yeah.
heritage, language, the culture, and just a different way of working, a new way of working because film sets are a little bit different over there. There's
Oh, really?
certain like they don't have grips.
Huh.
Um,
Huh.
uh, it, they're called something different. So certain
Okay.
responsibilities change and how you proceed is a little different. But one of the big reasons being that there's a fewer and fewer, but still quite a bit of financial opportunity there when it comes to creating a film, whether it's from the government, the
Sure.
department,
Right.
um, and it costs less to make. So you've got access to more money and you need less of it. So the
Plus
hope
the like everything looks amazing. You go into like a villa or all the buildings, the architecture. I mean,
history
that's
behind it.
priceless, man. That's just yeah,
Yeah,
that's just like
gorgeous.
this.
And so
Yeah.
really hoping for Chateau Sauvignon, the feature, to be made out there sooner rather than later.
Amazing. Yeah,
Still completing a couple of other shorts so that I can have a nice, sturdy portfolio to be able to show people.
for sure.
Um, Chateau Sauvignon was slasher, kind of gothic gore, the 70s feel that we wanted to go for, with only um, special effects done on scene, practical ones.
Nice.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
Morning Vigil. I wanted to create something Morning Vigil that was more dramatic, but still had these horror elements that are a little spooky, but that we can kind of flex more of a directorial
Right. Right.
actor forward narrative.
Yeah,
And I have a
absolutely.
short film which is in post, and this one is more sci-fi driven. So a lot of there's still some practical effects, but a lot of the effects are visual. So they're computer generated, and that one will then encompass more of visual effects, practical effects, and one which is just more based on character and camera.
Very interesting.
Round off a nice portfolio, which
Yeah.
still is genre based, which still has this kind of spooky undertone to it. in the hopes that horror features will be where I go, whether they're elevated or more classic in terms of a monster runaway.
Yeah.
Uh, that's where I'm approaching it from a creative standpoint while continuing to keep the networking open and to be attached to other projects. And
Very smart. That's a good strategy. You're showing your kind of different aspects in each film. It sounds like, and it's great, yeah, the
trying to create a
diversity.
visual
Yeah,
language. Exactly. It's this visual aesthetics that I enjoy. And when I speak with my production designers, with my cinematographers, directors of photography, a lot of references I give are generally more paintings. They're not necessarily movies, because it's a visual medium and
absolutely. Yeah.
they're creating
And
arts. Why not tap on?
watching both, like both are so like Chateau and Morning Vigil, they're so different, but I agree with you. The Chateau has more of a classical look. I mean, every detail, you're very good with detail. It's pretty amazing, and it shines in both movies differently, which is like pretty fantastic. So I can't wait to watch the third one when you have it completed in your package.
Visual
Yeah.
effects, very long time and are very expensive. So I don't know if I'll make another sci-fi movie like this again. I think I learned my lesson there, but I'm so excited to share it. We were on our last build, and so hopefully sooner rather than later it'll be done.
Awesome, man. I look forward to it. Yeah, I know a lot of work and sacrifice and financial goes into these things, and it's tough. And sometimes people watch a movie and they don't know how much hard work went into it. They just watch it and go, "Oh, that was good," or
Skip, next one.
right? like
Uh,
like years of your life. Yeah. Uh, but that's what you do as an artist, right? You
exactly
just
so.
you pour into something you love and you want to share with people. And you want to grow as an artist and get to places. But so we're almost out of time. Where you kind of mentioned it a little bit. You want to get to a feature version of Chateau. Primarily though, where like if you had the dream path, right? Because walking a path is so difficult, things don't always go your way. But if you had the dream path, where would you like to be? Like professionally?
Professionally, I'd love to direct. I'd love to be able to make a living off of directing,
Yeah,
which, Mother Teresa passes away and goes to heaven, and Saint Peter welcomes her at the pearly gates. You have lived such a such a beautiful life. Um, we will send you back. You can be whatever you want. What would you like to be reincarnated as? A director, please. It's a
very nice.
classic. Everybody wants to direct. Everybody wants to direct. So the dream would be one of the short films hits it big,
Yeah,
gets me shopped around to some production companies, gets a signed deal,
yeah,
or maybe the feature film, and one the shorts help me finance the feature. Well, then
right.
that can do the same. And otherwise, as long as I can still continue making art, and like I said before, acquisitions and distribution is a plan B, I suppose, to a certain extent. I don't envision myself doing it forever.
Yeah,
Uh, and I would be interested to do it for feature films. I
yeah,
had a couple of opportunities here and there,
yeah,
but they didn't pan out. But for the time being, it's finish the portfolio
yeah.
and then get to the next stage, which is feature
Well,
game.
man, I have to say this might cut out, so I just want to say how what a great pleasure it was to have you on here to meet you face to face. I'm impressed with what you've done and how you help others and how you found your niche and how you keep growing, keep pouring into your art. It was a real pleasure. Hope to see more things from you next year. Absolutely. I wish you the best of luck. I want you to have that feature done. I really do. I really
Not
do,
the only
man.
one. We're not the only one. We're gonna make
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You got people rooting for you. Just keep grinding away and it'll happen, Keep those positive vibes open and all that and don't ever lose hope, especially in the darkest days. Just keep moving forward. I see great potential in you, man. Great potential.
That means a lot. It's not been easy recently, but
Yeah.
gotta keep grinding, absolutely. And
Yeah.
we do it not just for ourselves, but for to spread the joy or the horror, whatever it might
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, and the love of the craft. The love of the craft. You gotta love it.
And for
So
anybody who hasn't seen Obsession, go watch that. Oh my God.
yeah, for sure. It's on my list. Yeah. Yeah. I got a lot of movies to watch. But all
You
right,
get
David, we'll
to-
leave it at that because I'm afraid it might just cut off because we only get
No,
40
no
minutes.
problem.